All right, so I wrote 2 speeches, crumpled the other one up.
Oh yeah!
But we wrote 2 because this has been a humble campaign from the start. Our ambitions were great, but we never lost sight of the fact that we were doing this because we want Edmonton to be a better place to live, not because I want to be a city councillor. And as much as I am honored and privileged to be standing before you, as for some of you anyway, because many of you don't actually live in Ward 5. I stand before you as, for some of you, your city councillor-elect. And for others of you, a guy with some ideas that most of you agree with about what we need to do in this city to make it a sustainable place to live.
Yes!
And there are people of all ages in the audience because this message and these ideas are not confined to a generation anymore. They maybe were for a while, or were in large part. And not everybody is here because of that idea. Other people are here for other ideas, but this campaign has been a campaign of ideas first. And nobody else was doing that in Ward 5. So I've had a lot of media calls, you know, what did you do? What was the key issue? And we had some ideas that we spent a lot of time thinking about and a lot of time talking about in increasingly larger groups, and I think almost every one of you here have talked about these ideas with you and listened to your ideas. And that was the theme of this campaign, was going out and listening to Edmontonians, delivering a message to them about what smart, sustainable growth could look like, but then listening to their concerns, whether it's potholes, this is a valid concern, or whether it's urban sprawl. And we always had something to talk about with everybody who answered their door, or everyone who emailed us, or everyone who was on an online forum, because we attempted to engage every last person. And they showed up to vote for ideas. They showed up to vote. They showed up to vote for a style of leadership or a style of engagement which values them. And so this campaign for me was about valuing people. First of all, the voters in Ward 5, or sorry, I take that back, the people who live in Ward 5, because they don't all get to vote. Some of them were kids in grade 6 who, by the way, at Earl Buxton School, they ran a poll earlier today, and I went and spoke to this group, and I think I'm the only councillor candidate. Also the only councillor. I will have you know that there were 2 sweet victories tonight. And it's a toss-up which one was sweeter, because those kids elected me in their hypothetical election in a landslide.
Done! 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 Done!
I think 45 of them cast ballots, and they each cast 2 votes, and the teacher recalls that I got 43. So,
pays to show up.
Yes.
Yeah. So that bodes really well for our city in 6 to 9 years when they start voting. In the meantime, I'm sorry, I'm going right off my script here, but see, politics of ideas, complete sentences, we use complete sentences.
Voters.
Conventional wisdom said that you cannot unseat incumbents, or it happens so rarely that you should not bother to try.
Prove that, my dog.
Well, we did. We called this thing Project 16 to begin with, because apparently 84% of the time, statistically, they keep their seats. But I think one of the reasons they keep their seats is because people keep saying good people should wait to run until there's an opening. And that's lousy, stale democracy.
Yes!
So instead, we thought we'd liven things up a little bit, and I'm very pleased with how it turned out. Because that conventional wisdom is bad for the city, it's bad for democracy, it's bad for the public conversation we need to hold every 3 years and in between. Because if incumbents are unassailable, why would they answer your phone calls? But as I said, this campaign was about talking to people and answering the phone and going to their doorstep and talking to them. Incomplete sentences. Because I like really long sentences. That was the other thing we did differently. Is the advice early was run between doors, shake as many hands as you can. You're just trying to introduce yourself and establish name recognition. All city council elections, all local elections, are just about name recognition. Well, 4 weeks ago, other than the people whose doors I'd knocked on, nobody had any idea who I was. And maybe that gave me an advantage because there was some negative name recognition with the opposition. But we made it about more than just shaking hands and kissing babies. We made it about talking to Edmontonians, and it's been a joy to work with each one of you who stood next to me, or as the campaign built steam, those of you who went out without me, and yesterday, those of you who went out and knocked on 1,889 doors. How many votes did you win by?
2,200.
If there were an average of 2 people in each one of those houses, that might have made the difference. Every little thing we did when we pulled out all the stops is the thing that might have made the difference. That was the attitude we took. That was the attitude you took for me. And I can't tell you how much I thank you for it, because now we can get on with doing things better in the city here.